came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.
All right, guys, welcome back to Overshot, a paintball podcast. I am so happy you guys are back joining us once again. Man, you guys are truly the best listeners on the planet. But before we get started with the amazing guest we have for you, and I can't wait to talk to him, of course, I got to tell you about the people that help us. And that is, for starters, Diazana Sports. Our guest knows a little something about them. Their website is diazanasports.com. They have all kinds of awesome stuff. Joggers, custom jerseys, gloves. If you're looking for soft gear, like some hoodies and stuff, they got all this kind of stuff. They have all the Seattle Thunder stuff. They have all the leash stuff on their website. So if you go there, you can buy anything. I'm sure our guest has his own code, which we'll plug later. But our code is Overshot, and you'll get 10% off everything that you order. Definitely keep doing it. Like I said, we get it. We see when you're sleeping. We know when you're using the code. We get the email. So keep using it, dude. We really appreciate it. And the second company we've got to tell you about is Volcano, man. They have the best gear bags on the planet, especially for us in the Northeast. It's snowing. It's raining. You don't want to be rolling your bag through the muck, through this. Throw it on your back. They're just the best bags, man. They're the best bags, hands down. You see all these people rocking them. But their website is Volcano USA, and the code is Overshot10. And once again, you'll save 10%. You know, they're not as diligent as Diazana. They're a little bit more behind. They do it more like once a month. So once again, we know when you're sleeping. We know when you're awake. We just got a nice little thank you from Volcano, because you guys bought a bunch of bags, dude. So keep buying bags. We really appreciate it. But now that I'm done with that, I am super juiced to talk to our guest, Padddy Gleason, Seattle Thunder, off the leash. You know who he is, man.
OTL,
Thank
baby.
you for joining us.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Great intro. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, no, thank you. So, of course, we always start this away because I actually really like knowing how our crazy sport found each in person. So how did paintball find you, man? What was your first experience like?
Dang, man. That was a long time ago. So I got introduced to paintball in 99. So I was in the 6th grade, I believe. And I have the basic typical run-of-the-mill story. It was for a kid's birthday. But, you know, at that time growing up on Maui, you know, all my friends were surfing. I was into skating. I was doing surfing at the same time, though, too. But playing all the sports, soccer, baseball, and everything like that. And one thing, though, my mom never let me play with guns, right? Mm-hmm. So I had friends that had BB guns. I would always beg to go over to their house. I want to go shoot cans. I want to go shoot at birds, all of that stuff. And then, like, I started to catch wind of paintball. And so, obviously, I think just that natural attraction with who I am, like, whatever my parents said I couldn't do, I wanted to go do, you know? So paintball was one of those things. And my buddy was going to have a party with paintball, and begged her, please let me go. Finally, you know, I had to go backdoor it, and I had to go through my dad, you know, and was just like, yo, convince mom, like, I want to go, I want to do this. And so he did. And what the funny part about this is she let me go, and this was unbeknownst to me, right? But she let me go play paintball with my buddies, but it was the most unsafe conditions. Okay. Like this, you're talking like, this is Maui, right? We do things different. And so it was not at a field or anything like that. We went to this abandoned portion of like the old highway. So it had like this, you know, it had like a gulch, and it had like this old bridge that went over it. And so we were doing that. But the funny part was my friend's dad was the old high school coach, right? And so I roll up, and they have, you know, a bunch of the plastic talons back in the day, just those old pump gun, I don't know, Brass Eagle or something. There were the talons, but this guy had old football helmets with chicken wire like glued on or doing something, you know. I don't know
That'll
how
work.
he
You're
got
good,
it.
bro.
Yeah, I don't know how he got it on there, but it was just the chicken wire over it, you know. And so this is what we're playing in, and I'm just having the best time of my life, you know. I'm finally, you know, we're out there, I'm doing my thing, and then I remember exactly like the moment I got hooked. And so we were, I forget the rules of it, but like the bridge was like the safe zone, and like you couldn't get shot there. And so we were across the gulch, and I was playing again. We were playing one-on-ones, and I was playing against my buddy's older brother, right? And so this was like, let's man up. Let's see who has the bigger ego. And he gets up from the little bush that he's hiding from, and like we were running out of time, so he was making a sprint for the bridge for whatever reason. I don't even know why, but I remember cocking that talon and sending that one ball fly. And you know, those things don't fly the straightest. So this thing went and curved up and around and shot him right in the chicken wire. Paint everywhere. You know, he was spinning out paint and everything like that. And after that, I was just hooked. And
That's
so,
awesome,
you know,
dude.
I went home. I was telling them all about it. You know, I was lit up. And so, I mean, naturally, my parents just couldn't hold me back, man. You know, at a very early age, I was off the leash, bro. So I was like, I was ready to go. And so, yeah, from there, my paintball journey just continued. You know, I had a group of friends, like I said, that were already into it. This was actually a couple years later, and I found out that a couple close friends of mine were into it. And then so, like, I really bought the gear, you know, started doing that. We have a lot of pastures where I'm from, up on Maui. It's a different portion of the island, so there's a lot of pastures, a lot of greenland. So that's where we would play a lot. And there was one regulation field that like everybody played at, and the
I was gonna
home
ask
team.
because like Hawaii, it can't be too like 99. Paintball couldn't have been too popular. So I was gonna ask you, like, were there any fields? Like, was that even an option for you?
So actually, no. To piggyback off that, 99, 2000, basically up to 2004, kind of all in that golden era, paintball was booming. We had like at one point we had like 20 teams on Maui itself, and which is huge. Yeah, which is huge for any area, but let alone a small island. And then Oahu has always had a big scene as well. So there was always rivalry between the islands. But I'll get to that. So there was one team out of our field that was like the team, right? Like they were professional back in the day. You know what I mean? Like everyone was like, oh, those are the pros. And so there was a 3-man tournament, and me and my buddies, we finally got the balls to just go play it. You know, like we were very intimidated, but we wanted to get into that scene. And so we entered, and we ended up taking first. Like this is, we were like 8th grade, I think, by then. But we were playing against, you know, all the older guys and stuff like that. So I was just a little rugrat, you know, and so we're running around. We end up winning the tournament. And so we kind of get on the radar of this kind of bigger team. So they pick me up. And then from there, like traveling and playing tournaments, that's really where that kind of kicked in. And so we played lots of hyperball. You know, we finally got the air ball with like the hoses going across the field and stuff like that. We thought we were top notch. And so right all the way through high school from 2000 to 2004, that's where I was really kind of getting into the tournament scene. And this is the tournament scene, like, of course, like you always got to reference back to Maui, right? We're always a couple years behind you guys up over here. So we watched a lot of the pros and everything just through all the old videos, right? We didn't have Go Sports or anything, so we had to wait for the latest video to come out, you know, to watch what was going on, or read the magazines to see what was going on. And so like it really just took over my life in high school. You know, I dropped skating, I didn't surf as much as when all my friends went to the beach to go surf on the weekends. I was at the paintball field. I was always that guy.
Grinding.
Oh yeah. Paddy's gonna go play his game or whatever, you know. And so, but I really was taking it seriously. And then so when it came time to graduate, I wanted to set myself up because that was my early aspirations to go pro. So, you know, I when I graduated, I ended up going to UNLV first. So I was in Vegas for a year, and I was playing with some guys over there. And I honestly, I can't remember what team I got linked up with, but we used to have connections with Aaron Carter, who used to make the old duck pistols. He was affiliated with Dye for a long time. And he had connections, and he linked me up with this guy in Vegas. And I want to say it was like Splat Factory or something like that. I really can't remember, but I played with them for a little bit, but then got into a lot of trouble in Vegas. Ultimately got kicked out.
That's a tough spot to go straight out of high school, man. You didn't set yourself up for success really with that one.
Hey, there's lessons to be learned along the path. And you know what I mean? That was definitely one of the lessons, but ultimately ended up in Eugene, Oregon. Always had ties to the Northwest. My sister went to U of O. I had friends all up in here. And so ended up in Eugene. And then from there, that's where I got picked up by this team, Fearless, and was playing locally, was playing some NPPLs with them and stuff like that. And that's really where my friendship with Corey Field started. So I've known Corey for a really long time. And
long time.
Yeah. And that kind of progressed, and it was Naughty Dogs at the time. They were going to bring back their Naughty Dog Silver. So like they were having tryouts for a semi-pro team, and all of the guys from Fearless, we were kind of breaking apart, but we all ended up going to the tryouts, and we were going to try out for them. Several of the guys got picked up. I made it to one tryout, and then I had some other stuff going on, and I didn't go to the second tryout. And that was the last time I picked up a paintball gun for quite some time. And so we can kind of go back to this because it is a big part of my story and a big part of my message. But I was, you know, I really got consumed with substance abuse at that time. And so I really fell down a dark path for several years after that. But to kind of hurt
time, man. But I'm glad to see you're on the other side.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's been a lot in between, but just to fast track, you know, I ended up back on Maui after that to get my life together. Ended up doing that, and in the process of doing that, all my old friends heard that I was getting my life back together, and so they're like, "Hey, why don't you come out and play paintball?" First time coming back, we played a tournament. We got first in that. And then so I was hooked again. You know, I was like, okay, like
I'm back.
I forgot how this feels. I got the bug again, and really just started to play for fun at that time. And then Corey caught wind that I was playing again.
Right.
And
this whole winning thing is pretty sweet, man. We gotta do this more often.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that doesn't help. I mean, that doesn't hurt, you know. And so yeah, ultimately, Corey caught wind, and I had a spark of a thought, you know, of this old dream of mine of going pro. And then so I was like, let's see what happens, you know. And
let's do it.
The stars aligned, man. I really shouldn't be here, but I am. And I ended up moving back up to the Northwest, and Corey again found out, invited me for a tryout, because right at that time, Seattle Thunder, at the end of 2017, was the time that they were like about to get relegated, but then the league opened up to 20 teams, so they were hopped back on. Right. And at the beginning of 2018, so I went to try it out, and they picked me up, and the rest is kind of history, man. I've been with Seattle Thunder since 2018. So going into even though last season was a bust, so going into 2.5 seasons now, I guess, in the pro division. So
dude, and you guys have definitely come up. Like, I mean, they're one of I like you guys personally just because of Harrison was on the team. He's from our area. I kind of know him. And then just in general, watching you guys, I've always liked how you guys have played. and you guys are definitely like taking steps to get better. We talk to a lot of people on the show, and we always say like it's really hard to if you're like a lower pro team to really make that jump, man, without like serious funding. The Houston Heats, the dynasties and stuff, man, to really. But I see you guys getting better, man. I really do. I'm excited for this year.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah. Yeah, just to kind of branch into the story of Seattle Thunder. I mean, from my inception, it has been really cool, with Harrison, and then Harrison's the boy. Shout out to Harrison, and that was really a rebuilding year. Corey took a huge chance on me. I was ranked D4, I think. Like this is pretty crazy. Like what? So I had 2 full seasons, so that's 10 events. We had 2 last year, so that's 12. And I only played 1 NXL event prior to that in D4 5-man. And so ultimately I have like 13 events under my belt for NXL, and 12 of them are pro. And 12 of them
that's
are pro.
Dope. That's sick, dude. What?
So, it's a pretty crazy story. So he took a huge risk on me, and I owe my loyalty not only because he's like my best friend, but to Thunder. Like they took a chance on me, and I'm gonna be ride or die. And so that was the year that he really brought on all these new young guns to like be aggressive, trying to change the style of Thunder. Right? I think Thunder had a previous narrative to when we were there, but we have really handcrafted and changed that narrative of Thunder, right? Like you've talked about, right? We've really kind of taken us from a bottom tier team to be middle of the pack, and obviously our aspirations to be the next one would be to be top 8.
Right.
And
keep
like,
it going.
of course we want to make an event, win an event, but we have to be realistic in the steps that we go. And we have to break this kind of curse that we are missing Sundays by a point or 2, so we're knocking
right
on the
there,
door.
Man, you're so close every time. I feel like, man,
we're knocking right there. And I get that whole, kind of teams have funding and it's really hard to kind of break through that and be a consistent team. And I don't personally buy it. We're all human beings, all these players that, and I look up to them. What's awesome is that I've become friends with many of them, but we're all just human. And really it's about your work dedication. It's the hunger that you have for it. And, each event, each practice is an opportunity for me to grow. So I have to have an accelerated learning curve. Like I said, 13 events total in the NXL. I only have and I'm 35, right? I came in late. So I only have this window to really get everything done, so I'm on an accelerated path. So it's like that hunger and that drive and keeping my physical, performance at top levels. I really think that in the long run, yes, I think there's a lot of veterans in the game right now that are expected to win, but I don't think that they're untouchable. And I don't mean that by any disrespect, but I don't think that they're untouchable. You know what I mean? And so
no, that's the mindset to have, man. Like,
right,
anyone can get got, man, and you can't be afraid of anybody. And like I love the way you're approaching it, because like you're saying, they have funding, this, that, and the other thing, but like I'm a firm believer that nothing's supposed to be easy, man. Very rarely people that are super successful that achieve great things go, dude, that was easy. Like typically it's very hard and difficult. You got to sacrifice a lot to get that, man.
Yeah. And a lot of it goes in just to the ethos of how we run our everyday, on how we structure and how we set ourselves up for success. Like going back into Vegas, I did not set myself up for success, but I've learned a lot along the way. And so I break it down to my everyday life, and I'm structuring my everyday life so that I am getting better in all areas of my life. And I think in just that, the synchronicity of that is going to carry, obviously it's going to carry over to paintball and keep that discipline, and vice versa. Everything I learned from paintball bleeds into my other areas of my life. So it's just like all of that encompassing really launches you forward to really accomplish these goals that you have set. And I have goals, and my track record with accomplishing my goals are are pretty good. So, you know, if that's in my sights, then it's coming. I'm ready.
Hell yeah, man. So something I wanted to talk a little bit about, and a little more somber, and if you don't want to go into too much detail, you definitely
Yeah.
don't have to, but I mean, substance abuse is definitely something that
Yeah.
like a lot of people suffer from. You know, we have a team associated, you know, with the podcast, and a player on Dylan, you know, he struggles with it from times, and you know, I've struggled with it back in my past. I know plenty of people have. So if anyone's listening to this that is struggling with that right now, what is some advice you can maybe give them to help pull them out of like the depths? Because I
100.
typically it's like you got to hit rock bottom first before you need the help. But I mean, if you could give any advice to maybe someone who's listening that could needs a little help right now, what would you give them, man?
100%. You know, and that is a big reason why I want to come on to podcasts and stuff like that. It's like paintball is great, and that we can joke around and we can talk about, you know, our personal goals and stuff like that. But ultimately, it is to spread the good word, you know. And substance abuse is dear to my heart. Mental health is dear to my heart. I spent a good amount of time being a substance abuse counselor after I got clean as well. So it's something that, you know, hits home for me. And yeah, going back to when I was trying out for Naughty Dog Silver, you know. The so-called like hustlers mentality, running the game, that was a big part of me back then, right? I held that dear to my identity, and ultimately I chose that over paintball, you know, and it got me into trouble. And so I eventually, you know, I was a poly substance use user, you know, so everything under the sun, but ultimately what took me down was IV heroin use. So I spent a good amount of time shooting up heroin, and it just got me, like,
damn, bro, to see you on the other side of that is fucking awesome, dude.
Yo,
That's all, like
it's fucking crazy, man. And
yeah, because a lot of people don't, man. A lot of people really struggle with that, dude, and it's something they never overcome. I mean, it definitely, I mean, I guess you could attest this a little more than I could, but it's a lifelong struggle, if I'm not mistaken, man.
And I'm blessed, you know what I mean? Blessed up. It's like, I hear my story, and to me, it's my story, right? But being in the field and stuff, and watching friends and watching other people, I know how lucky I am. And, you know, ultimately when I was, you know, you talk about rock bottoms, it's like rock bottoms, but I was just bankrupt, you know, like not financially, just spiritually and physically and emotionally, you know. I was just an empty carcass, you know, and it sucked. And I knew, like, deep down, and I think that a lot of substance users can resonate with this, but deep down, I knew I was wrong. You know, I knew that my life was not meant to be like this. And so when I strapped up, I basically, you know, got rid of my business at the time, I put that aside, and I went home, and my intent was to get clean. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I went home and I just kicked cold turkey. And that was the gnarliest thing that I have ever done, to kick a couple year binge of IV heroin use cold turkey. Don't recommend it on my worst enemy. And it's one of those you would have thought that would have kept me clean, but it didn't. You know, I had no structure. I had no idea who I was, and I still held on to this identity that I was this kind of street thug, which it was the biggest lie. You know, that's not who I am, and this will come back around. But yeah, I held on to that identity. So, you know, what they say is, like, you hang around the barbershop, you're going to get your haircut. And so I started hanging out with all my old friends, you know, doing my thing. And I wasn't even clean. I was just abstaining from opiates. But eventually, you know, the oxys ended up coming around at parties, you know, and then it was off to the races again, you know. And so I relapsed on oxys for a good couple months, like, you know, almost a better part of a year. And then finally, just through the will of my higher power, like, I got clean again. I kicked that cold turkey again, you know, and it was just like, how long am I going to do this? And so that was November 11th, 2011, 11/11/11, which always falls on World Cup. So World Cup is always a very special time for me. And when I finally got clean, you know, for me, it was the rooms. I walked my ass into one of the rooms, and that, having an understanding that that's not for everybody, but if someone is listening to my story and finds hope in it, this is how I did it, right? And I went to the rooms. I was still selling weed in my trunk, and going to these meetings, and I was staying clean, right? I was stringing along these clean days. And as I started to get out of the fog, going back to that kind of identity, right? So I was still holding on to that identity, which I think was the hardest thing for me to do. That I was this drug dealer. I was this hardcore person. Like I was living this alternative lifestyle. As I started to get out of the fog, I started to realize that part of me is really not working.
Right.
And I had to give that up. And so after I did that, I stopped selling, and then I completely broke myself down. And talk about just being in a very raw and vulnerable spot in life, right? I was 25 at the time, and I had no idea who I was, And so that's really the blank canvas, though, that you want to have in order to kind of recreate yourself. And so you can look at it as being very daunting. Like, I don't want to do that. It is hard. Don't get me wrong. That first year of being clean took every fiber of my being to stay clean. And it was very hard. But at the same time, I had fun with it because I no longer was holding on to this kind of false sense of identity of who I thought I was, and really pivoted and was looking at the possibilities of who I could be.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it's a really a great thing. Cause like, I mean, I have a kind of similar situation. I wasn't a heroin. I was more of a cocaine guy, but, I just remember being in a bad place and not liking who I was or what was going around. I was maybe around 21. This is before I even really got into paintball. And, I just remember cutting everybody out of my life. Like,
and that's hard, man.
Dude, well, yeah, everybody, literally. And I don't speak to anybody back. I mean, Waldo knows, like, I've met him after this, and like everyone I knew was through paintball, and paintball is part of that rebirth. I had a blank canvas. I was able to, I looked at myself, this is not who I want to be. I could start over again. All these, none of these people know me. They have no, like, if I didn't tell them, they would have no idea that 4 years ago, I had all these problems. I had $0 to my name because as soon as I got $50, I was sticking it right up my nose,
Right.
And, like I said, now I'm competing, I'm doing all these things, and you really can change. And it's tough, man. Like you said, I cut everybody. I don't speak to a single one of those people anymore because I would just fall right back. Like you can't be hanging around those people. You know that.
Right. And so they say recovery is a selfish game, right? It's you had to take a second, and it comes back to where you can be caring for other people. But in the beginning stages, you definitely have to recluse back to yourself, be selfish with that, because you're protecting yourself, right?
I didn't help somebody else. You got to help yourself.
I didn't trust myself, right? So how am I going to learn how to trust myself without actually looking inward and working some things out? And, and if you can just kind of recap everything that I just said for someone that may be listening and wondering how to do it, a lot of it comes down to fear, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of starting over and starting from scratch and not knowing where that's going to take you. Because your life, even though it's so chaotic, addicts, we love chaotic, and we're comfortable there. This is the life that we've known for so long. Like, it's very intimidating and very scary to think about any opportunities outside of that. You know what I mean?
Right,
and
dude,
so,
it is. It's like, who am I going to hang out with? What am I going to do? Blah, 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 blah. It's like very confusing.
Right. It's very daunting. And so it's like the fear part of it is a huge part. So it's one, again, the rooms helped me because I found a collective group of individuals that shared similar experiences that I love stories. Right. So it was great for me to go into the rooms because all I did was listen to people's stories. And I was able to realize that I wasn't alone, and I think that's a big step, to realize that you're not the only one. Right. So many of us think that our situation is just so unique, and that's why we use. And
Right.
really, I'm going to tell you right now, your situation is not unique.
No.
we all go through it, right? And so that kind of fear of the unknown and taking that leap, take that leap. You know, I
Yeah.
encourage everybody to take that leap, because if you told me that my life was going to look like this and that I would be playing professional paintball, I'd own my own brand within the paintball community, I would have told you to kick rocks. Like, I would have been like, no fucking way. But it just has happened like that. And that was all because of just we make it so hard, but the simple decision to not pick up.
Yep.
Right. And that's where it all starts. That's the seed. And and anyone that's listening, I promise, like, there will it's not all unicorns and rainbows. There's gonna be hard times, you know, it being clean. It's tough. But my life now, you know, it's light years better than what it was, you know, and it takes work, but for me personally, I've fallen in love with that work. I love personal development. I love mindset, and I love being physical, you know, and I love playing paintball. So I've been able to just interweave that into my life to where it's just part of my fabric of every day.
Dude, awesome. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up a little bit, but just in case, you know, in case anyone is struggling out there, because I definitely want people to pull out the other side, because again, it is tough. You know, I gave up all my friends. I don't talk to a single other person now. If you don't play paintball, I don't talk to you. That's how it goes.
And if I can just say on record, like, and I say this every time, but if anybody ever needs to reach out, like, please reach out via social media. Find me. Let me know.
For me too.
Yeah, man, like, you're not alone. Like, that's what I just want to let people know, that, like, there is hope and that you're not alone. So please reach out. Tell me your story. Like I said, I love stories. No judgment necessary, you know, wherever you're coming from. Reach out.
Like I said, and everyone's story is a little different. Like I said, like, my come to Jesus moment was when I was like picking up from my dude, and he looked at me, he's like, yeah, dude, that guy's been picking up for me for 15 years. And I'm like, dude, that's going to be me. Unless I do something about it, that's going to be me. I'm going to be 40 years old. Yeah. Because I'm like, why am I going to be so different than this dude who's 45 years old picking up blow from the same dude? Like, I'm like, dude, I got to get the fuck out of here, dude. I got to get the fuck out of here.
Well, my breaking point was, obviously, you know, I hustled a lot, you know, and so my breaking point was, I was on my way to work and I was trying to get an oxy, and I gave the guy, it was like $25 or something like that, and he ran off with it, you know, and it was $25, and my ego was just like, fuck this, dude, like, I'm so tired of this shit, and I was hurting, I was sick, and I threw in the towel. I was just like, and it was just such a small pebble. Like, that was not nearly the worst thing that's happened to me along this chaotic and insane lifestyle. And it was just that little pebble that I just fucking was off. I was like, fuck this, man. I can't do this no more.
Hey, like I said, you pulled yourself out, and hey, it can be possible. Because I was talking to somebody else that was dealing with this, I mean, not too long ago, and they're like, well, how are they going to meet new? I'm like, dude, just do what you like. Like, that was how it worked for me. Like, I was like, I need to start a new life. What do I like doing? My brother took me to go play a big game. I like paintball. So I'm just going to go to the paintball field all the time. And then you just meet people that also play paintball that you're similar, and you just build new friends, you know, like I met this guy over here. No, sorry, wrong friend. I met this guy over here. And, you know, now, like I said, there's not a single person I don't talk to that I didn't meet through playing paintball anymore, because that was a part of my new life. Right.
And it's what, you know, that question of what am I going to do? You know, I always said, bring the body and the mind will follow. So it's like, go into the rooms. Like, I'm not here as an advocate for the rooms, but and I wasn't, right? When I was just trying it out, it was free, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't want to go to a treatment center. And then, so I went to the rooms instead, because it was free and I didn't have to go stay at some place, you know? And so that was my introduction. But I heard someone say, like, try the 12 steps. And if you don't like it at the end of the 12 steps, go back out, you know? And I was like, all right, what's it going to do? You know, it's not going to hurt nobody. And I swear it took me to like step 4, and my life was already starting to get so much better that I was just all in,
Yeah.
and that was literally my progress, So again, it's not for everybody, but this is my story, so I'm gonna tell it. And it's like that was what worked for me, and it was the cheapest way to change my life.
Yeah, and you got to, because trust me, your life will get so much better. Like I see, because you're talking about yours. Like for me, like it just got so much better. Like I was in a band at the time, and like I felt like when I got clean, it was like, oh shit, we're recording an album. Oh shit, we're touring. Oh shit, we're in multiple states. Oh shit, we're up and down the entire East Coast, dude. Like whoa.
Nice. Yeah, man. Yeah, like crazy shit starts happening, and you're like, I'm doing this clean. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, dude,
And
awesome,
everything's
awesome.
such a huge accomplishment. Everything's so shiny. It's
Right.
like I paid my first bill. Sweet.
Yeah, right. You're like, dude, there's money in my account. What?
Yeah. I'm not just draining my account. Like, let's go. I'm good.
Yeah, dude, right. But I mean, like I said, hopefully we were able to help somebody with that. But let's get a little more fun. Top off the leash,
Yeah.
man. Your brand, your company, you started that. So what was their mindset behind, getting off the leash and all that kind of stuff?
Dude, so Off the Leash, man, it's my baby right now. I love it. We have a lot of fun doing it. It's me and my buddy, but he doesn't play paintball, and he's really behind the scenes. So I'm at the forefront of it, and it really all started. So when I moved up to the Northwest, I completely completely restructuring your life. So I told you I was a substance abuse counselor beforehand. I wanted to get out of the human services field. And that was only because there was just so much substance abuse in my life, within my own recovery and working as a counselor. It was just like 24/7. And I just wanted something different. So me and then my girlfriend at the time ended up getting married. We quit. She was in the human services field as well. So we got married, we quit our jobs, and we moved all within like a 3-month span. And so we came up here when we landed in Northwest. We were starting blank again. We didn't have jobs lined up. We came here and lived with my sister for a week or so, but we did save up enough money so we could get our own spot. And then I was delivering flowers for a bit, and then ultimately decided to go as a fitness coach for my next profession. And so I was working in a gym at the time, and then my buddy, that's where he comes in. I was just doing my thing at the gym, and he was like, dude, who's this new Paddy guy, dude? He's a beast off the leash, And from there, that's when Off the Leash was kind of the inception of Off the Leash. We got to be friends, and Off the Leash ended up just becoming a term, like we would say, like off the chain or something like that. We'd just be like, oh, that's off the leash. And people started to tune into our social media and stuff like that, and they're like, what's this off the leash thing? And we ended up, you've seen our gold tooth design. That was our first design of it, and we just made a couple shirts for us, and so we were rocking it. And then somehow, like, just with the presence that we make, people are like, yo, like, what's up with those shirts? Like, how do we be a part of Off the Leash? And we're like looking at each other like, I don't even know what these guys want to be a part of, you know what I mean? And so we did a little limited run of the shirts. Those got out. Shout out to Trey. Trey was one of our day ones, dude. Trey saw us and was like, oh, I want one of those. So he's been riding with us from day one, literally. And then I started doing my remote.
Dude, I love Trey.
Yeah, Trey's the man, dude. And so that's when I started to step into the remote coaching. And then so that was my platform to kind of hybrid performance training with paintball athletes. Right. And then so that really, kicked off and started to gain traction. And that's really where kind of our presence within paintball really got established and started to grow because it was such a cool niche that at the time there was no one really doing it. Like there were some other pros doing fitness, but it was more like fat loss or bodybuilding kind of training, but no one was really diving into the nitty gritty of doing like sports specific training. And so I took the ball and ran with it, man. And it's been a lot of fun, and we've been progressively growing. Dude. I mean, it's been progressively growing, and people are finding great results in it. So that's always a plus. Yeah, and what I've really enjoyed, and it was just a personal goal of mine, was really to get my hands on the other pros, know. So and that's really how I've been able to develop these friendships with these guys that I've, like, going back to being on Maui, that I've looked up through the looking glass forever, right? Now I'm talking to them on the phone. I'm helping them train, you know. Shout out to Ronnie, shout out to Cole, to Archie, like all of those guys, bro. They're such cool guys, and you know, I really do enjoy, like, I do have a passion for teaching, but also just helping these guys train better for the sport, you know.
Yeah.
And so with that, and then that branched out into the apparel line, which it's been just taken off, man. It's been a good, it's good fun, man.
Dude, hell yeah, no, because I'm trying to push people to do more, because, like, I feel like there's too many people sitting around doing literally absolutely nothing, sitting around on their ass, especially paintball players. Like, I hate when I hear people that are like, man, why are we not doing good? I'm like, well, what are you doing Monday through Friday, dude? Are you fucking sitting around eating ding dongs all day? Like,
yeah,
like, because and it's not even like there's not much. Like, I don't want to pay for a gym member, dude. Like, I don't pay for a gym member. I do plyometrics. I work out every single fucking day, dude.
Yeah,
you don't need weights. You don't need all this fancy shit, man.
Yeah, and you know, I think,
bro, do 50 push-ups and then get at me. Tell me how tired you are, bro. I'm telling you.
Hey, here comes the push-up challenge coming up, man. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it on your feed. Someone's gonna call you out. But no, and you're exactly right. I think that there's this shift, right? And it's been gradual, but it's been there. And I think that, you know, I think a lot of people that even play paintball don't even view themselves as athletes or even it as a sport, right? And that's all fine. Like, if you want to just play paintball with your friends and go to an event and drink beer and have a good time, like, kudos to you. That's dope. There are, you know, a lot of people out there that are taking this seriously, view themselves as athletes, and want to
please do that, because I will eat you up, dog.
hey, I didn't say that, but you do you. I'm gonna do me, right? And that's how you progress. And you know, you go back to being the accelerated learning curve, right? I need to be performing at my best in order to surpass some of these other players, right? And to be the best. So this is just one tool to the toolbox of being a better player, right? Not saying that if you work out, you're going to just go and be the best on the field, but this is just one of the little factors, one of the little tools that we need to add to us to make us better players, right? And so that's really what we do. And I think OTL is great too, because it's really transformed into just this community of players that we all have the same mindset. Just like you were saying, Travis, it's like we get together on our Zoom calls and like maybe 20 minutes is talking about training. The other is just us bullshitting, but like talking about our weeks, what we kind of were successful in, what we kind of fell short in, how we can get better, right? It's this always kind of step forward progress that we hold each other accountable for in order to be the best versions of ourselves, right? And so so OTL has really kind of evolved organically into that, to where it's like going back to like people reaching out and be like, I want to be a part of OTL. I didn't even know what being a part of OTL was back in the day. But it's evolved to this thing to where it's not just like, yes, me being a professional paintball player and a fitness coach is my platforms to deliver this stuff out there. But when you kind of dive in and get into the nitty gritty, it's just like that collective of people to look out for each other to help us get better, you know what I mean? And all areas of our life.
Hell yeah.
And so it's been so much fun, man.
No, dude, it looks great. And like I said, I think it's great that when people are helping people, man, I really love that. Like when it's a big community, and because you see so like, dude, especially on the internet, bro, like that's why I can't even go on Twitter, dude. You see so many people just ripping the other people apart. And like, dude, it's about bringing all of us together, man. We should all, and helping the person next to you. Like, yeah, even its own paintball, like, yeah, we're competing against each other and there's competitors and this, that, the thing. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to help each other be better people. Like we all, at the end of the day, even after we walk out the nets and we take the masks off, we're still people. We're gonna have to hang out with each other, man.
Right, and we want to elevate the game, right? And so helping these other pros, I mean, I get heat from it all the time. It's like, how are you gonna go and help that guy? That's your competitor. I'm like, well, if I'm not gonna help him be the best player out there, that's not gonna make me the best player out there. You know,
I
that
hear
just
that all the time. Same thing about the podcast. Like, oh, well, I mean, don't you want to get more views and more? I'm like, dude, I don't understand why it's one or the other. Why is it?
Right.
Why does he only have to listen to that podcast or only listen to ours? Like, bro,
Right.
like
We're too
everybody can
small
eat.
of a community. Yes.
Right.
We're too small of a community, and there's plenty of food out there for everybody to get some, you know,
Yeah.
and in order to elevate our game, like to say, we're such a small community. In order to elevate our game, we all need to kind of band together and get us there. You know, we all want to be viewed on ESPN or be recognized every time we have a conversation that we play paintball. Like, I mean, I get tired of it. It's like, oh my God, I didn't even know paintball was a sport. It's like, yeah.
Second
Like,
time of that conversation, huh?
We actually do this shit, and I'd actually smash you in the gym. So
hell yeah. Dude, so dude, 3 weeks out from the first event, dude. It's like, dude, it's coming. This season's almost here. How excited are you, bro? I'm excited, and it's not even. We didn't even get the layout yet, and I'm excited.
I'm excited, man. Of course, you know they had the first event, which was in Dallas with the divisional teams. It was dope watching those guys and seeing. Hey, our boys, Seattle Cartel took the win down there for D2. So shout out to Seattle Cartel. And but no, I'm excited, bro. Like I said, being part of my training and everything, like this is where I start fine tuning, you know. So it's 3 weeks out, making sure that I'm starting to eat right, making sure that my training is coming along as I kind of progress it right up to the event. Same as with all the other athletes. And dude, and if I can just branch out, shout out to Dizana. Super excited. Yeah, man, I'm super excited to be rocking with them this year. They really take care. I've been super impressed with how they organize their customer service is on point. I love their gear itself. So I'll be very excited to rock them. The new Shocker amp, dude. I think that that's the best platform that I've shot for the Shocker. And I've shot only the Shocker all the way up through divisionals up to the pro. And so it's like, I'm so stoked to just be out there rocking all of our shit. And just, you know, again, top 8 is kind of our goal. And I'm more than hungry to step up to the challenge. Like, I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like I said, I'm excited to watch. I'm so excited to see how this year is going to play out. I think there's a lot of like off-season moves that's just going to make everything very interesting. I'm really excited.
Yeah. Well, I got blinders to that. You know, I got one focus, and that's to get me and my boys up to speed, man. So we're ready to go.
No, as a player, you have to. As I guess I'll come myself as like, I guess, a paintball media member. I'm excited to see how everything shakes out, just everything after everything moves.
Yeah. So it's 3 weeks away, dude. I'm ready to go. I'm getting antsy.
Yeah. What do you think of the new changes? Are you like, do you think the whole Super Cup thing is cool? Like what does it not affect you? Whatever. Just give me time and a date, and I'll show up with my GAT kind of deal. I'm
more that player. I am. I actually even forgot about Super Cup, so thank you for reminding me about that. Corey,
that's what it's called.
Yeah, Corey laughs at me all the time because I'm so oblivious to some of the things, you know, and I'm literally like, okay, tell me when, tell me where. I'm gonna make sure that I'm correct when I show up, and then I'll be there, you know. And so I just have fun, man. Like I said, I came into this the pro division late. I'm just trying to have a good time. I'm trying to, you know, get some wins, and I don't really have any thoughts or opinions like with like how the NXL's handling things or whether the Super Cup's like dope. I don't know. I know that's a really boring answer. But no, I'm the same way. I don't go into depth with that, man. It's like, it is what it is. Let's just play.
Right. I'm the same way. Like, I don't care where it is, when it is. Like, I don't care what the rules are. Just tell me what they are, so I don't break them, dude.
I just want to play. Dude, 100%. Hey, I can even break the ruls a little bit, and I'll just be like, hey, I just didn't know.
Right? That's not the best. Claim ignorance.
I play stupid a lot, man.
Dude, when I'm especially if I think I'm hit, I'm Helen Keller. Who, me? I'm hit. What? Oh, I'm gonna shoot this guy. Oh wait, I can't shoot this guy first. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
My apologies, I didn't know.
So do you have any aspirations to do the mechanical stuff? I know like Northwest Rogue is kind of up there in the Northeast too. But so are you doing any like the 10-man kind of stuff? Is that in your future?
Well, so that actually did start last year. So with the hiatus and everything, but that the tail end of it, things started to open up. So there was some of the mech events. And so yeah, we went and played in a mech event in Sacramento at Capitol Hill. And then I got invited to go play with Adrenaline. So I played with Adrenaline.
I thought so. Yeah.
So I played
Our
with
boy Vegas is on the team. Shout out Nicky Vegas, 631. He's from our hood.
Vegas actually wasn't there that event, so I was pretty bummed. But no, great group of guys. I had a blast doing that. And then that was about it for the mech last year. I haven't really thought about mech this year. But I mean, I'm always open. Yeah, but I'm always open. If someone reaches out and needs somebody, I can see
Adrenaline,
if it works.
send them the contract.
Hey, I talked to James
in the mail.
too. Yeah. James the homie too. So what's up, James? But no, I go with the flow. So yeah. Priority NXL, making sure that the practices lining up to NXL are worth it, whether we need to travel. So that's first and foremost. If something aligns in between there and I'm able to go, I'm all for it.
Hell yeah. So another thing I want to talk to you about is because I know you're super diligent with your training and stuff, and this is something that a lot of people who do train kind of overlook. But do you try and peak at a certain point in your training so that when you're coming up to the event, you're in like tip-top shape? Is that something you even focus on, or?
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. So I'm really lucky because where I work out at, so I am a fitness coach at a gym in itself. So OTL is not the only thing that I do. I have another job, and I have private clients. But the gym that I go to, we're the house of the Seattle Seawolves, which is the professional rugby team. And so they all train out of there. So I have good, close relationships with the strength and conditioning coach and head coach for there. Our boss is a fitness juggernaut and knows everything under the sun. Like, no, legit, he is a guru. And so I get to learn from him. And we also have like Seahawks coming through and everything like that. So I get to see like these high performance athletes and what their training programs
high level guys.
Yes. And so I am able to filter that down, trickle down effect, and apply that to our training. And so I usually will run, and paintball season's unique because it's so long, right? And then the off season, we only have so long. And so I'll take you back to the off season, end of cup. I've had athletes now for over a year. So I've had them for a full season. So this off season, we were really able to kind of start from scratch. And so we built the body up. We did a lot of kind of stabilization type of stuff to start, and then kind of transition them into some hypertrophy so that we could build some muscle. And then now the last phase, we're going into the tournament, right? And so we've kind of switched gears. We're doing a little bit of footwork stuff, conditioning wise stuff, and then so I really kind of peaked them with strength and everything during the last phase, and now we're just kind of maintain as we do more conditioning footwork. We do a lot of explosive movements, but it's very low volume, maybe moderate volume, but low reps. And then so that way, and then I always tell them, like, this month, always leave your workouts as if you have more in the tank, because I want them to have plenty recovery time, right? So this month, I'm really not trying to break anything down. I'm really not trying to smash them in the gym, right? That's a no-no, because one thing that I've learned is that, like, you could have one workout that you completely thrash your CNS. That can really affect your recovery rate like 2 weeks down the line,
right?
So now Yeah, so we're really, and yeah, you start stacking those things, your body is still recovering from the workouts that you were doing like 2 weeks ago, if you're really giving it. And so I find that happy balance during this month to really optimize that performance levels, because then we got the 2 layout weeks where we're grinding. Those 2 days, they're no joke, we're grinding. So you're thrashing your body already there. So, I'm looking at my calendar here and I'm like, so you basically have that week of the first layout weekend, the second week of the second layout weekend. And then most of the time people are traveling by Wednesday.
Yeah.
So you're really not trying to you've done all the work that you can do. You're not going to be doing much work during those 2 weeks, especially after those long weekends. You're going to need a couple days to like do a lot of mobility, maybe some light lifting and stuff like that. But yeah, so when you're talking about, just to answer your question, when you're talking about peaking, we're doing that.
Right. That already happened
weeks ago. Yeah. Yeah. So yes, that was just preseason. As we go into the season, we only have maybe month and a half in between events. We're not going to be doing a lot of drastic building during that time. It's more in season training, so that now we're kind of just maintaining, and it's such a different world for people, because yes, someone may need to lose, and then you go individually, right? Some people may need to lose some body fat. Some people may need to build lean muscle. So then you kind of go into the little nuances there of like going individually of, okay, well, we need to do this in order to get you here. But then even by then we need to get you there, because we need you to be ready for the event. So it is a dance, right? And everybody's different. But generally that's kind of how I go.
Right. No, I definitely want to bring that up, because I know like the common man is like, they're only going to work out those 2 weeks before the event. And I'm trying to like get people to realize that it's too late already. That's not the way. That's not the way.
Too late already.
This is like a full-time thing. And then to the event is you need to maintain those 2 weeks before the event. It's not about like you said, it's not about draining your tank. You got to make sure you have a little left, man.
Right. And the recovery is so important, right? And it's often overlooked.
Yeah.
When it comes to sleep, water intake, muscle recovery, soft tissue work. I mean, unfortunately, we're not
drink water.
Unfortunately, we're not at the level to reap all the benefits like these other professional athletes do. So it really comes down either out of our pocket or just to our own knowledge, which, if I could just plug, it's nice to have a coach that knows that knowledge and just tells you what to do. It takes the thought process. It takes the thought process completely out of it, and you just go, Roger that.
10-4, got you. No, you're so right, dude. You're so right. But yeah, like I said, I wanted to tell people, because if you try and just train really hard 2 weeks before the event, dude, you're going to crash and your body's going to take a tremendous shit. And then that's how you get hurt. That's when you see people, not going, it's never happened to me, but then you see tearing ACLs and all like PCLs and all this stuff. And that's what I don't want to see. Like, I want people to.
You saw it at Cup, right?
Oh yeah.
How much months did we go without nothing, right? All through COVID and stuff like that, and then Cup happens and people start training just right before it. Your body's not acclimated to all of that. And through the divisions up to pro, there was injuries left and right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to help people not get hurt, because like I was a wrestler throughout school, high school and stuff, and a little in college. So I kind of know a little bit about fitness. So I'm just trying to help, some of the people that don't know as much, so they're not totally tanking their body.
Hey, who didn't get hurt though was OTL athletes. So stand up.
That's right.
Let's go.
Because you peaked 3 weeks ago. Now you're just maintaining. Exactly.
We were already ready.
Cool, man. Paddy, thank you for being so gracious with your time.
Hey, I appreciate it, guys.
One last thing to help out our listeners who are trying to get in better shape, man. Food, because I think food is one of the easiest things you could do to changing your diet. Is really not. There's plenty of foods that are good for you and taste good, but there are plenty of things that you could cut out that are easily. Like, I'm a big fan of soda. Stop drinking soda. Soda's terrible for you. But as far as nutrition goes, what are some advices you can give to our listeners to not be such fat stooges?
Stay away from fad diets. you start this yo-yo dieting, which completely shocks your metabolism. And then so when you end up actually stopping the diet, you're going to even go for months without seeing any results because you've already shocked metabolism. So then you're already frustrated, so that happens a lot, so that's number one. 2, eat a well-balanced diet. If you are thinking to yourself, I probably shouldn't be doing this, you probably shouldn't be doing this,
That's solid advice right there about anything, not even just
about
eating.
anything, right? That goes across the board. Subconsciously, if you're telling yourself this is probably bad, it's fucking bad.
So, listen to that voice. Listen to that voice.
That would be number 2.
Regardless.
Number three, our body loves routine, right? So I'm talking about having breakfast, lunch, dinner, if you can fit in those snacks, but whatever you do, have a routine to it. Then your body's not guessing when it's going to eat again, right? You have these sporadic diets where someone's like, I don't know when I'm going to eat. I don't eat breakfast, but then, I'll get something in at 10 and then I won't eat until 10 at night. I'm like, well, no wonder your body's not doing anything. It has no idea when it's going to eat. So it's holding on to everything,
Right.
But you get into a routine, then your body knows, oh, I can get rid of this or I can use this up because in so much hours I'm going to eat again. Right. And so that would, if I had top 3 on my Zoom calls, I always say top 3. So my top 3 things right there would be like, stay away from yo-yo diets. If you're telling yourself that it's not, you shouldn't be doing it, you probably shouldn't be doing it, and find a routine, eat a healthy routine diet.
Yeah, dude, I'm that way. Like I do intermittent fasting, which I'm not, again, that's what I do. I know it doesn't work for some people, but I like it. I feel like it gives me, like, I feel like a little resistance is good, like just because I'm hungry sometimes doesn't mean I have to eat,
It's very self-disciplined.
Yeah. But also, like I said, like, so my day starts at 12. Like, I don't eat breakfast. I have lunch. Noon is when I start eating. But boy, let me tell you, noon, I'm fucking hungry. It's time to eat, boy.
Yeah. I actually loved when I did intermittent fasting for a while too. I loved it just simply for the convenience of it. It worked with my schedule, and then from 12 to 8, that was my window to eat, and it worked.
Me too. I do the exact same, literally the exact same thing.
My schedule now is all over the place, and it's just, I've tried it and it's just really hard for me, so I gotta eat just more consistently throughout the day. And I'm over here. I want people to know I'm human too. I know what's right. That doesn't mean that I hit the mark every time, right? I fall short all the time, but we just always have to kind of regroup and hit the pavement again. And I wanted to put a little asterisk to my top 3 because my registered dietitian friends would hate me if I didn't mention this. Because the number one thing that they always suggest when a new client comes in for weight loss is water and sleep. Those are the 2 things. Before you even touch what you're eating, really focus on that you're getting enough water, because water will actually break down the fat molecules. And then sleep, because sleep lowers your stress, which stress holds on to fat as well. So those 2 things, if you can just get those 2, you're going to be in good shape. And then you can really start to think about diving into manipulating your meals and everything like that.
Dude, people don't realize like how important hydration is. And if you make sure you're properly hydrated, you're going to feel so much better.
Oh, so much better. And most likely you're not drinking enough water. I don't drink enough water, and I know all about it.
I have the jug that's like tells you how you're supposed to drink. You know, it's like, oh, you're almost there, oh, whatever. Yeah. And dude, it's a lot of water. It's like hard to drink that much water.
So yeah, if people are interested to know how much water, it's usually on the low end, half of your body weight in ounces, or your body weight in ounces. Okay, so if you're bigger, that means you have more. You have more mass. You need to be drinking more water because you're most likely running around dehydrated as fuck.
Yeah. Solid, dude. That's great advice. Paddy, I thank you so much for joining us, dude. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know this is right before your dinner. Any last things you want to get out to our listeners? Do you have a personal code for? Yeah. Plug your sponsors. And do you have your own code for Dizana? So when people get stuff, they can help you out?
Hey, check this out. Yeah, thank you to all the sponsors. Like I said, excited to be rocking them this year. Shocker, Push, APX,
I
Dyzan.
love the Push goggles, dude.
Hey, yeah, I like the Push. Like we really do have the best sponsors. Hold on, I disappeared there for a second. Yeah, I was like, where'd my screen go? No, we have the best sponsors. Who'd I miss? CK, who did the custom OTL laser on my gun that came out hot. Carbon, and then I said it briefly, but Dyzana, man, I'm excited for Dyzana. We just did a pre-order over this last weekend for all of the OTL gear. That's going to run through this week, and then it's going to close at the end of this week. We had a promo code over this last weekend. I'm not sure if they closed that or not, but we will get another one up for this coming weekend. So if you're interested, go on over to Dyzana, check out our gear. I think we got the hottest shit out there right now for sure. So if you need a promo code, hit me up. I'll get you one. OTL, OTL's out there. Remote coaching. If you guys are interested in training and getting your performance up, let's go. I'm always ready to rock. And like I said, we have a great community of athletes already out there. It's a great source to kind of network. We do the Zoom calls and we do the Zoom with pros. So that's really cool, where I bring on a pro and we do a little intimate little conversation where we talk about everything that we've basically talked about. Training, prepping, drills, and anything under the sun, so that's really fun too. Yeah, all of it, so we have fun. We definitely have fun. Did I miss anything?
I don't know. What loaders you guys using?
Oh, we got the die loader. So yeah, shout out to Die. We got the R2s, Powerhouse rigs. Yeah. So
hell yeah,
we're styling. We're styling. I'm not going to be mad.
Yeah, dude, you guys are going to be fly as hell out there.
Yeah. So and I got Corey just sent me the peep of the Thunder Dyzana jersey that we have for the event, and dude.
Oh, primo, sweet.
It's on point. It's on point. I'm sure the pictures will get leaked here soon.
It'll be up on the shop.
Dude, that's sick. Dude, are we gonna be able? You might not even know. This might be only a Corey question, but is the public gonna be able to purchase like Seattle Thunder jerseys through?
So
Dyzana?
Seattle Thunder has their own link as well. So if you go to Dyzana's site, right, and it says teams, it has OTL and it has Thunder right there. So there's Thunder merch available as well. As far as the event jerseys, I believe what they said is that they're going to release those after the event so that you can buy it. Yeah.
I'm saying I might have to get one for behind me, dude. No, wrong finger. For behind me back there.
Yes, man. Yeah. So they look fresh though. Oh, they look good. I'm juiced.
Oh, awesome, dude. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Everyone, so once again, Paddy Gleason from Seattle Thunder joining us on the show. Dude, we cannot be more excited to talk to him. When he actually answered my Facebook message, I was so happy. Of
course, man. I don't understand why people have those reactions. It's like, yes.
Like a guy, right?
I'm a guy, and going back to the other people that, if you're stuck in a rock in a hard place, like, reach out. I will reach back out, like that.
He will. Can vouch. Yeah. Can vouch. He will.
Yeah. The air is not, the air is not nice up here. I'm on the same level.
Hell yeah. So again, dude, Paddy Gleason, he's really an awesome dude. Hopefully we'll be able to have him back sometime on the show to hang out.
Anytime.
Hell yeah.
Anytime, man.
Dude, listeners, you're the best listeners on the planet, all of you, and we'll catch all of you on the next one, man. Take it easy, guys.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon. They sing on a sleepless night. Try to catch me howling at the moon.